Welcome to this video on productivity features in Google Slides. So there are a few things inside of Google Slides that have either been modified for more efficiency or added when it comes to kind of presentations or collaboration. The first of which is dictate speaker notes. So if you're someone who likes to use speaker notes down here in the bottom, either for your own use, if you are making notes for yourself, if you're presenting, maybe you like to do full screen, or you like to use the speaker view when you're presenting. A lot of times you can type those notes down here, and then when you go in and you go to slideshow, or you go to your presenter view, then you'll be able to get the full screen there, and I can use this then with my speaker notes here on the slides. Well, one of the recent features or things added is to be able to dictate those speaker notes. So if you come up here and you go to Tools, you can now use Dictate Speaker Notes. And so my cursor, notice, is down in the speaker notes box, but then I get this Click to Speak button. So if I click that button, these are my speaker notes. I can now speak my notes instead of having to type them all out, period. So I can actually dictate down in here in my speaker notes. Now I can't dictate content for slides, unlike docs, but I can dictate down here in this text box. So that helps then when I go to my slideshow and I go to my presenter view and I look, now my speaker notes are here. Also part of the speaker notes feature, or part of the presentation feature, we'll go ahead and close this off, is the ability to present with question and answer. This is really useful in class, whether you want it to be anonymous or identified, or maybe you're someone who's used to presenting or speaking to groups of other teachers, professional development, other buildings, districts, whatever it happens to be. So I can present, and I'm going to go to my presenter view just like I have. But one of the options then up here is audience tools. So if I flip over to audience tools, I can either continue a recent session that I've had, which has keeps track of all the questions that were answered, or I can start a new session. Excuse me. So I'm going to start a new session. Notice that when I start a new session, this is the slide that I'm presenting that would be like on a projector or a screen, and it adds a banner across the top of ask a question at, and then you've got your address. So people can type that in, or if you've shared this presentation with them, they could copy that. You could also drop this link into Google Classroom or whatever it happens to be. You also have the ability to change where the questions come from. So right now they're in my domain, but I can also switch it to anyone. Okay, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to copy this address so you can see how this works. And I'm going to, in another account on another screen, I'm going to open that. Okay, and so you can see what that looks like. This is what that screen looks like then, basically kind of this chat prompt here. Okay, and I'm going to say, I need help, please. Okay, and submit the question. So it shows up in the prompts here on my screen. I'm going to move that off. And then in my speaker notes, I see that question here as well. So I'm still presenting, right? I'm still going and I'm still doing, right? But in my speaker notes then options, I do see, or I would see those questions come in. You did notice maybe that in this question box that I can ask anonymously, okay? So maybe you've got a kid and we come in here. So then when it shows up, it says anonymous. Same thing in my speaker notes, it shows anonymous. Okay, I can present this question. Okay, so if I hit present, it actually shows the question here. So I can actually throw that to my screen, or I can come back to my slides as well. So that presentation Q&A is a pretty cool and useful feature. Lastly, just something to be aware of that you might like to use. I'm going to flip over to a different slide. And that is the use of add-ons. And these have recently, these aren't new, but they have become more and more powerful, and the menu and the way we use them or find them has been more organized. So if you come up here to extensions, and then you go to add-ons, you can go and get add-ons. And when you do that, it's going to take you to the Google Workspace Marketplace. And it's already going to filter these as works with slides. So you can see the ones that are recommended, or you can go through and you can see different kinds of options. I can search, let's say, for example, I want to do some sort of a mail merge. And so I can come in and I can look for different options for mail merge things that work on slides. I moved to this file because this is just an example of where it's powerful and it might work. Something like a mail merge add-on, I make maybe like a locker sign, or I do something where I want to have all of the kids' first and last names, and I've built that. And this often mail merges with sheets. So if I have a Google sheet and it's got all my kids' first names, last names, maybe locker numbers, activities that they're in, whatever it is that you want to merge, and I can come in then and I can use, and you'll see these are some different ones that I have, and I can go to mail merge and then I can start, and it's going to run through prompts about connecting it to the sheet. What sheet do you want to connect it with? What are the headers of the sheet? That kind of thing. One thing to be aware of on all of those add-ons, extensions, apps, they're tightly controlled by your IT department, so you may have to request an approval to add that add-on to your slides, or for your school to allow it. So if you start looking for add-ons or you start doing some exploration, there's a lot of cool stuff out there, but you're probably going to have to work closely with IT for them to approve that, to be able to get it to add to your list. So those are some presentation tools or productivity features in slides.